Yo, what's up, guys? How's it going? So, I've been in Korea for 3 full days now, not including the day that I landed. So I wanted to just quickly discuss some of the stuff that happens in the first few days of being here, and what like the beginning of life in quarantine is like. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So I said in my last video that when you land, you hand over a form that you had to fill out on the plane. There's a few questions about whether you've got any symptoms of coronavirus or anything like that. And then you get your temperature checked. After that, you go on to 2 officials that basically help you set up your quarantine app, and then they also make sure that you are staying at like a legitimate location. They call anyone who is supposed to be your contact in Korea, and if not, then they organize whether you're going to go to the government facility for quarantine or not. The app that they get you to set up is basically a self-quarantine and self-assessment app. You at some point will get a thermometer, and you have to temperature check yourself every day, twice a day, and you have to submit your temperature on the app, and also you have to tell them whether you have any symptoms of a cough, of a sore throat, or any fever. Once you've done all of those things in the airport, you go through immigration and customs as normal, you get a taxi or a bus to your apartment, and then once you're there, you do not leave your apartment. You are then in isolation, in quarantine for 2 weeks. There is one exception to not leaving your place of quarantine, and that is within the first 3 days, you have to go to a government health center and you have to get checked for coronavirus. The process is super quick. You get picked up from your apartment, taken straight to the health center, you get your check, you get taken straight back home. That is the only time within the 2 weeks that you will leave your apartment. In my experience, the check was super quick. It took me about 5 minutes drive to get to the health center, and then the check was done in 5 minutes and I was home 5 minutes later. I left my apartment at 9 a.m. and I'm pretty sure I was back through my door at 9:17. So it's incredibly quick and incredibly efficient. For anyone who hasn't had a COVID test before, it's basically a swab that they stick right into the back of your throat, wiggle it around a bit, and they take it out, and then they stick another one right into the back of your nose and wiggle it around a little bit, and they put them both in a little bottle, you seal it up, and then they take it away. And then I got my results the next day, luckily negative, so I'm happy about that. And then once you've done the test, they give you a little bag with some supplies in it, and then they send you on your way. I'll show you what the supplies look like now. So everything came in this brown bag, which has my name on it, and basically everything was in there. So what you get in the bag is some orange and blue waste bags. Basically the orange bags, you put all of your waste in, and then you disinfect and spray the outside and the inside of the bag. And the blue bag is the bag that the orange bag goes inside. Once you've filled the bags up, you call a number or get like your contact who speaks Korean to call a number, and then they come and pick them up. So next in the bag, you get the disinfectant spray. This you use to spray the inside of the bag and the outside of the bag of the orange bag, and then you put those inside the blue bag. So also inside the bag, you get this band and this kind of chain thing, and not every place gives these out. I think this is like a Suwon specific thing. I'm pretty certain the idea of this band is like to kind of like morally support people who are quarantining, because obviously it can be quite a tough time being in your apartment on your own for 2 weeks. You also get this diary with those. I think the idea is like you just write down your thoughts and stuff. There's a couple of numbers on the back, which I think are care numbers, like support numbers. I did also get text that said if you're having any trouble with quarantine or having any like mental difficulties, like dealing with being alone and going through quarantine, there is a number to contact on there. So that's super cool. So next in the bag, you get some moisturizer for your hands, obviously, because hand sanitizing will dry your hands out eventually, especially alcohol. So you get this to help keep your hands healthy. You also get some hand sanitizer. Also in the pack, you get a thermometer. This is what you use to do your temperatures twice a day, and then you fill it out on the app. Again, not every area gives these exact packs out. I know in Seoul, they don't necessarily give exactly this out, but this is like the Suwon specific one. Other regions might be different. Some might give you more, some might give you less, but I know this is what I got at least. So you also get some papers. You get a receipt. I'm probably gonna have to blur that out, but you get a receipt of quarantine. Basically, you put your name, your date of birth, and your address on here. You also get an isolation notice, which is basically just to show you when you start and finish your quarantine. It gives you your dates. You also get this useful document here, which basically shows you how to set up your quarantine app correctly. They did do it for me in the airport, so I didn't actually need to go through this. I also got this document, which shows you what all of the things in the kit are. Unfortunately, it's in Korean, so I can't actually understand it, but I can kind of get an idea. Yeah. So we're going to take a back step from the COVID testing that you do, because that's technically on one of the first 3 days you're here. But for me, on my second day, I woke up to a delivery outside. My school had actually sent me a bunch of quarantine supplies. Now, not every school is going to do this for you, and obviously, if you're not with a school, if you're coming here to visit a friend or to stay with relatives, obviously, they might already have stuff for you, or you might have to order them, or whatever. But my school has sent me a delivery. It was a big delivery. There's a lot of boxes, and it's in theory going to be enough food, I think, for the full quarantine. Maybe I might need to order a few things, but there are ways to do that. I know there's a website called Trazy, I think it is, and you can basically buy a bunch of stuff from Korean supermarkets and stuff like that and have them delivered to your door. And if you do speak Korean, obviously you can just get normal Korean delivery, or if you know someone in Korea, they can get stuff delivered to your place for you as well. My delivery from my school had 2 full packs of water, it had some bread, it had a lot of ramen, it had a bunch of stuff. So I think I'll be completely fine for the 2 weeks. I'm very lucky and fortunate that they've ordered this, especially that it turned up like 7 a.m. after I'd arrived. So, you know, I didn't have to wait. So when I arrived in my apartment, it was pretty much fully furnished. I have a bed, a washing machine, you know, a hob, all the kind of standard stuff you would need. The only thing I don't have right now is a microwave and a kettle, but to be honest, I'm not really too bothered about that. I don't really need them right now. The food I have here, I have nothing that needs microwaving, and a kettle is whatever. I have no coffee in the house or any tea, so I actually have no need for a kettle either. The view from my apartment is great. I'll show you the view. You should be able to see it right now. It looks really pretty. South Korea looks so good at night. I can't wait to do some videos all around Korea at nighttime. I'm really excited to explore. As I said in the last video, when my apartment is a bit more like fleshed out and I've got a bit more here, I'll do like a little bit of a video around kind of showing you what I've got and that sort of stuff. But until I'm kind of settled in, I'm not going to do that. So for anyone who's going to go through a 2-week quarantine, it's really worth preparing yourself in advance. I'd make a list of like any of the things that you want to do, because like now is the time, kind of the best opportunity you're going to get to have a guilt-free free time. So, you know, you could binge watch like that show on Netflix that you've been wanting to watch, or you could watch a series of movies, you could read a bunch of books, you can play through that video game that's 100 hours long that you didn't have time to, and now you can do it with no guilt whatsoever because you have nothing else to do. You physically can't go anywhere. I've personally been making sure that I work out every day. I'm only doing like 10 to 15 minute workouts, like maybe 20-minute workouts. So I highly recommend checking out Fraser Wilson on YouTube. If you want to work out in quarantine and you have either limited space or you have no equipment, you can normally find something to do every single day. And to be honest, his videos are really good. He does the whole workout along with you, so it's really motivating and, you know, it really keeps you going. I'll put a link into the description for his channel. As I say, I've found his videos super useful. I was using them before I came to Korea, but I'll be using them in quarantine for sure, and until I get signed up at a gym here. I mean, maybe even after, to be honest. Also, one thing to mention as well is that this quarantine time is a really good opportunity to learn Korean. If you haven't learned any Korean at this point, now is a really good time to get some fundamentals down, so you know, like basic phrases and basic sayings. And to be honest, more importantly than anything I've just mentioned, one thing you have to do during quarantine is just make sure that you stay connected. Whether it's keeping in contact with family members, keeping in contact with friends, making new friends, or even just staying in contact with communities that you're part of. Make sure you do, because this can be a very lonely time. And there are a lot of people that struggle with the 2 weeks. I'm quite comfortable on my own. I'm quite comfortable in my own space. And I don't mind the 2-week isolation, it's fine. I have a lot of things I can do to keep me occupied. Not everyone is that way, and that's fine. You know, there are plenty of apps to still stay connected. You've got Discord, you've got WhatsApp, you've got KakaoTalk. you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram. There are so many different social media apps that you can use to stay connected with people. There are even ways to do watch parties on Netflix. So you and a friend can watch the same movie while being in a different place. You can do that with Disney Plus as well, I know now. So there are ways to experience the same thing and still spend time together and share moments together, even if you're stuck on your own. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to be the video. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like at the beginning of quarantine. As I say, I've not done the whole thing yet. I guess I'm in my 4th day now, but I personally think that it's worth sharing this experience. If there are any teachers out there that are going through quarantine too, please message me, show me what you're doing in your quarantine. It's great to share ideas. Especially if other people are going through it too, it really kind of takes the weight off, because you're not the only person. Being alone in quarantine, if you don't keep in mind that other people are also going through that too, and other people are going through similar things, it can be really hard to deal with that. So, share with other teachers, share with other family members and friends. Yeah, and for everyone who's watched this video, thank you very much for coming along. I appreciate you following me on my journey. I hope you all have a great day, morning, evening, whatever part of the day it is for you, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace!